outdoor learning and really getting people outside is the best way to make those connections and actually retain them. I know when I was working with, I think it was like 3rd through 6th graders in outdoor education programs, you can just see like their whole world like light up when they're doing something outdoors. Like certain kids, like they might not have access to outdoor spaces, so allowing them to be in that space and really making them feel comfortable, it just like changes their whole way of learning, which is amazing. And then they get excited about it and they retain that information way better than just looking at a worksheet or seeing a PowerPoint slide. And I think that's for anyone. So for me, like I studied abroad in Iceland, and it's one thing to like look at pictures of Iceland and be like, okay, yeah, like great, they have all this renewable energy, but to actually see it in person, I will remember that forever compared to just learning in class. So I think outdoor education is very important for creating meaningful experiences that are going to last into whatever you do in the future. So, and pertaining to climate change specifically, again, bringing people into a space where they can actually make those connections, it's going to be more meaningful and they're going to remember it and they're going to be able to go out and share their own experiences rather than just handing someone climate data, which isn't exactly accessible for anyone to understand that. For kids, climate change is such like a big topic. It's really hard to understand. So there's the data, just the data itself. Looking at a chart for kids, it just like it doesn't mean a lot to them, you know. So I think starting out with outdoor education, like environmental education specifically, is a great way to immerse kids in the natural environment. And it's all interconnected. So if you talk to a kid about like stream ecology or pollution in a stream, that relates to other environmental systems, which in turn is all of under the umbrella of climate change. So they can associate those specific environmental education moments, so like stream ecology, later on with climate change topics. So it's all interrelated, and I think it's important just to even take students out on a hike and have them like observe what's around them so they can have those actual lived experiences and those outdoor experiences that they can later connect with some of like the bigger and more complex topics. I think like as you're older, it's not necessarily any different from learning about the environment as you're younger. I think being outdoors, like even for me in college, like being outside was a better experience than just being in a classroom. Like I felt like I learned more in that capacity and I was able to actually like relate to what I was learning because I could see it like in the moment. I think that being outdoors and having like outside classroom experiences is really good as kind of like informal education, and it makes like a more relaxed environment, which helps with discussion. So middle school, high school, they might be like less receptive to talking about big topics, kind of depending on like what your background is and things like that, where you grew up. But if you make it like simplistic and you're out in nature, it's just one way of having another discussion. So it doesn't have to be, let's go outside, we're going to talk about climate change. It's going to be, okay, what do you see outside and how does this relate to climate change? Things like that. So it's all about like having a discussion and really asking certain questions. Like April was saying, like asking the why, I thought was really amazing, because if you ask someone why, then that opens up, you know, kind of what they're thinking and you can talk about it. So I think at any age, it's really great just to be immersed in environmental education activities, specifically outside, because it creates kind of a more meaningful experience and you can actually have like structured discussions that feel more comfortable for students. So